Assalamu alaikum, welcome and karibuni to Aroma of Zanzibar's Kitchen. Today I'm going to share with you how I make this beautiful, very fluffy, delicious red velvet donuts. So I'm going to start by preparing the buttermilk, and I have used full fat milk. That's about 3/4 of a cup, and we're going to add some acid, which is white distilled vinegar. You could use apple cider, lemon or lime, about 1 tablespoon. Mix it and keep it aside. For the dry ingredients, I have used 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Then we're just gonna mix it well as we sift to make sure that all the ingredients are equally distributed. Now over here I have got 1/2 cup of granulated sugar and 2 tablespoons of soft butter. Just gonna mix it to combine. I'm looking for a sandy, wet sandy texture, not fluffy, not creamy, just wet sand texture, something like this. Right? Before I proceed, I'm just gonna go ahead and add some vanilla into the buttermilk, about 1 teaspoon. You can go up to 1.5, and some red color. I'm using gel food coloring, which is very strong, so that's about probably 1/2 teaspoon, but you can use powder one if you have. That would work very well as well. Okay, so we're just going to mix it. And for my dry ingredients, I forgot to add cinnamon powder. I love cinnamon powder in red velvet, but that's totally optional. All right. So now just gonna add the eggs. I've used 2 eggs, so 1 egg at a time. And once it's well combined, we're just gonna add the other egg. So now I'm ready to add the flour, and we're gonna do the alternating method. That is dry, wet, dry, wet. All right. So we started with a dry. I've been working on this recipe since last May, off and on. I think this is my 6th attempt. I'm comfortable with the, then we're going to add the buttermilk. It's funny when you say buttermilk and then it's red color. Yeah, I'm comfortable with the flavor, but I need to work on the texture again. But I just thought it's time that I share it with you guys since it's Valentine. All right, so we just added the dry ingredients again. And then the wet ingredients. So that would be my last part of the wet. The red buttermilk. Okay, and then the flour. Okay. So once we're almost done, just gonna add some hot coffee. That's about 1 tablespoon. You know, red velvet has coffee. Okay, and 1 teaspoon of vinegar. If you have apple cider, that's much better to add that little bit of tanginess. I didn't have it, so I just used white distilled vinegar. I wanted to have all the elements of red velvet. Okay, so that's it, and then you're just gonna wrap this up. You can keep it minimum about 2 hours because this is a very soft dough, so you want it to set, you know, to really set, but you can keep it up to 2 days. I kept mine for 1 day. I couldn't get back to it the same day, so I kept it for 1 full day. All right, so just gonna wrap it up nicely. You want those glutens to really relax. Okay. So this is my fried red velvet. I just wanted to do it. I mean, it's like I'm tired of baked red velvet donuts, and like I say, I'm going to come back with this, a better version. Just give me some time. All right, and yeah. Okay, so this is the following day and I've got my oil ready. And you want to make sure you dust the surface with a lot of flour because this is a very soft dough and it will stick a lot. All right, so we're just going to open it up and there you go. It's nice and bright. The color has somehow brightened after being in the fridge for a day. And then we're just going to roll it. You can keep a parchment paper on the top if you feel more comfortable. And I decided to move with my board rather than shifting the dough. Okay, so this is my experiment, guys. Tell me what do you think about it. But it's an edible experiment. Okay, so we're just gonna dip the cutter in there in the flour so that it's easy to cut the donuts. You can use a cup or a glass, whatever you're comfortable with. And I'm using a cookie cutter, as you can see. And I've got my oil. I wanted it to be about 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And I started high and then I went low. All right, so you should be able to get about 10 to 12 donuts with this recipe. So I'm just gonna do the inner circle. We're gonna remove the outer. And you want to keep this in the fridge while you work on the rest of the dough because, like I said, it's very soft and the more it stays in the fridge, the better because it really firms up. All right? Then if you have a pastry brush, please go ahead and remove the extra flour. I have too many cooks in my house, so my stuff tend to be missing. All right, and then I'm just using the spatula to remove it because I didn't have enough flour on the surface. But it worked. Okay, so I started with high heat, like I say, about 350, and then I reduced it. Then you want to fry this for about 5 minutes. I mean, about 8 minutes total. Because if they're too thick, by the way, then they won't cook properly inside. Okay, so after that, I reduced the heat a little bit so that they cook very well. You know what? I didn't want them to have too much color because then they turn too brown. All right, and our donuts are ready. They're nice and crispy on the top and they're soft inside. Okay, so we're just gonna remove them. And now we're going to make the glaze. I'm making the sugar glaze. I've got 1 cup of powdered sugar, which is also known as icing sugar, a pinch of salt, and we're going to add some vanilla. And I'm using 2 tablespoons of milk. You can use water. And you can also make cream cheese glaze, but the cream cheese glaze does not, it's too sticky, so I just decided to go with the normal glaze. And this is the thickness I'm looking for, but if you want it more thicker, you can make it with just 1 tablespoon of milk or water. But remember, the thicker it is, it's going to take more time to dry. All right, mine took about 10 minutes to dry. And we're just gonna, and you can glaze the whole donut, but we just wanted to do half the glaze, just like that. And now we're just gonna wait for them to dry. And we've got ready our cup of coffee, and you can see how beautiful our donuts are. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to visit the description box and get those ingredients. And for more recipes, please visit me at Aroma Zanzibar. Have a wonderful day.